Hello everyone, Mouse98 here with a new video, and this video is actually going to be quite short. This is a continuation from Against Black Hammer, and we're going to go over nationalism today. Primarily the difference between revolutionary nationalism and cultural nationalism. For reference, I'm using an old interview with Huey P. Newton, which the link will be down in the description below. So yeah, let us begin. In the beginning of the interview, Huey goes over that there are two forms of nationalism: revolutionary nationalism and reactionary nationalism. The former is that of the people's revolution with the end goal of the people being in power. To add on here, revolutionary nationalism can only be formed by oppressed groups. So for example, the IRA are a famous left-wing nationalist group from the early 1900s to the 1960s. They had fought for a united socialist Ireland. Another example would be the Viet Cong and North Vietnamese, as they were another symbol for left-wing nationalism, fighting against the oppression and colonization of the country. Left-wing nationalism for a people that are not oppressed can lead to reactionary nationalism, which is against the people. Now, cultural nationalism, or what Huey called porkchop nationalism, is a form of nationalism of having a reactionary political perspective. He says that the cultural nationalists are often more concerned to returning to the old ways of their ancestors. They believe this way will somehow make them more politically free. Examples for such groups are Nation of Islam, Hotep, Black Hammer, Kurdistan Democratic Party, Democratic Unionist Party, and Inkatha Freedom Party, which is a Zulu party in South Africa. And that is just to name a few. There are a plethora of more parties. These orgs are not for any form of revolution that benefits the people, but only wanting to maintain their own culture without being oppressed by another group. So they'll get rid of the racial, ethnic, or whatever type of oppressor and replace it with their own oppressive force. Now, Huey gives an example of Papa Doc, who at the time was a ruler in Haiti. He did replace the racists in power, but instead of installing a progressive force, Papa Doc had installed his own oppressive regime, and the only thing they protected was the culture, and they didn't fix anything else. This is all reactionary nationalists know how to do. Revolutionary nationalism is the opposite of reactionary nationalism. Huey gives an example of Ben Bella taking over Algeria from the French and replaced the French oppressors and let the revolutionary people into power. They had nationalized industry and focused on a more socialized system, which I would contest to that, since his system was more Titoist-like than actual socialism, but that's beside the point. That's a whole other issue on its own. But the point is to get rid of the bourgeois and give the wealth to the people. The original Black Panther Party was a revolutionary nationalist group that opposed capitalism, fascism, and racial opportunism. Their goal was not separation, nor was the party meant to alienate other races. Their goal was to fight racism and capitalism in order to achieve socialism. They supported the liberation of all people, colored, gays, workers, and so on. This is revolutionary nationalism. It's more leftist oriented, and it heavily opposes the reactionary nationalism. And that's basically the difference. And yeah, today was more of a short video, but I hope that you understood the nuanced view of nationalism. I hope I taught you something today. If you're wondering about national liberation, I have done a video on that called Stalin on National Liberation. I will put a link in the description. And that'll be it for today. Hope you enjoyed the video. Mouse98 signing off.